Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren, and in today's video I want to have a discussion video with you guys. I want to talk a little bit about Assassination Rogue. Recently on the forums I posted a forum post that read, "Does Assassination suck?" Actually, hold on, no, it was, "Why does Assassination suck?" PvP. Now, before you try to get all up in my grill about it, you can go and read the forum post. I'll have that in the description down below, but let me explain exactly what I mean. I've been trying to give Assassination a really good try ever since patch 7.2. I do not have all the points invested into the artifact weapon, and that might attribute to exactly what I'm talking about, but honestly, for PvP, who has the time to invest all the AP into your weapons? I mean, that's a whole nother topic I can talk about. But currently Assassination just doesn't feel that satisfying for me for PvP. But it's enormously fun for PvE, which I would say then this might attribute towards the stat templates for PvP. And Assassination has always had this like weird buff nerf thing going on with Blizzard. Sometimes it feels really strong and really good, and then sometimes it just feels underwhelming. And currently I feel the way Assassination is, and I feel like this is the kind of topic that can be talked about for a while, because chances are there are going to be questionable buffs and nerfs happening, because right now it feels that Assassination investment for the energy, the common points, the global cooldowns that you invest don't really have a good return. Let me explain here. When you're going through a cheap shot, about 40 energy, Corrode 45, Mutilate 50 energy, Rupture 25 and 5 combo points. Mutilate, and let's say you're lucky on that 55 energy Mutilate to get a 4 combo points off of it, and then use 25 energy 5 combo point in Venom. Now that's a lot of abilities that you're going through just in your rotation, and if you're lucky you're able to get a Corrode, Deadly Poison, your Rupture, and your Creeping Venom up. And just from your bleeds alone, you would think, and just from the dots in general, you would think that Assassination damage over time might be really high. If then, let's say it starts running away, you will see a considerable return on the abilities that you invested into them. But comparing that to, let's say, what a Demon Hunter does, those 34k, 35, 30k Corrodes and Ruptures don't really add up next to a Demon Hunter bleed, which is a talented bleed, no specialization for it at all, that ticks for an average of 80k or so. And that's something that you'll see in my recent video where I played Assassination for the skirmish event. And you'll see a little bit of how underwhelming the damage can feel. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, is the way Assassination just feels to play, not really as much as the performance in PvP. I feel like Assassination performing in arenas currently, it is a spec that can train a target down and put a lot of pressure on a healer or a DPS. In arenas, it has a role and a functional capability, but let's say just doing BGs and skirmishes and really just whatever amount of solo PvP that you can muster, I feel that's where the spec is really lacking. When it comes to solo PvP, and it just doesn't feel fun, doesn't feel satisfying, doesn't feel like it's worth putting all of these deliberating effects, all of the debuffs from your artifact weapon, Creeping Venom, Deadly Brew, Rupture, Corrode, all these abilities on your target, and then just watch him walk away scot-free with a few heals on themselves just to patch themselves up and ready to go. It just doesn't feel satisfying. Assassination has always been a spec that's been in a weird balancing issue. At first it started out in Legion, and it was fun. You would put all your dots, exsanguinate, if you ran Night, I believe it's Night Stalker, and you vanish, those dots would hit for 50% more. That was exciting, that was fun, although you didn't have the CC to maintain Assassination, so then it was like an interesting give and return. You dealt a lot of damage, and your dots really tore through people, and if you could deal more damage, then you were really just blowing people up, almost one-shotting in a single stun. But you didn't have the CC, so you had a role in BGs, you had a specific role in 2s, you had a specific role in 3s, but at least you had some of a role. When they nerfed rogue damage in general, we saw a lot of rogues unhappy, as myself included, with the way rogues were performing, because it felt like no matter how much I invest, when you have a Demon Hunter or a Windwalker Monk who's doing exactly the same thing I do, but just better, more damage, better CC, better pizza, motherfucking Papa John's over here, then it feels that, well, my spec kinda sucks. It's just not that fun to play. The amount of time and the global cooldown that I invest into it, the energy and the combo points I invest into my abilities just don't feel satisfying when they're tickling the enemy. When they're literally tickling the enemy. And it might be an issue just with the current assassination. And we are going to have assassination changes coming up in patch 7.2.5. So I'm not going to completely write the spec out. I am going to patiently wait for the changes. But I did want to bring this up that the current spec, at least for me, subjectively, just doesn't feel satisfying to play. But not because I have a personal issue with poisons, or I don't like the rupture mechanic, or I feel like the mutilate cost is too high. I feel all that is fine. It's just the damage for the investment of abilities, the return for the investment that you put into the spec, the give back doesn't feel quite as good. But there are a lot of other classes where it does feel good. As an Outlaw Rogue, when you roll the right buffs and you have all of your cooldowns, that's it. That's where the spec shines. If you roll True Bearing, you got stuns for days. You are a Subtlety Rogue for a little bit. If you have any issues with mobility, Grappling Hook just solves all problems. Kind of like how Demon Hunter with Metamorphosis solves literally any problem you see that you need to destroy. It's just one of those things right now where I feel the spec is in a, I guess, a fragile state. And I guess it could be a little bit better once you farm every point into the artifact weapon. If I had the time to put every single point into every artifact weapon for all 3 specs of Rogue and just farm all day and build it up in a single day, I would. I really would go ham at it. But with the way that Legion designed artifact weapons, this is something that needs to be done over time. And like you, I have a limited amount of time that I can spend into this. I do have a life out of this. I will have, again, the link to the forum post where I started the open conversation about Assassination not feeling all that satisfying to play. Not really as much as viability, but again, satisfying to just press the buttons and use the abilities. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you guys' comments in the comment section down below. Check out the forum post in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video.